Hey, Faith family, thanks for joining me for another week of readings as we prepare our hearts and our minds for this Sunday's sermon. Now, this weekend will be a little different as our final pastoral candidate, Pastor Tim Shute, and his family will be visiting us. So please come out on Sunday morning to meet with them after each service. At his church in Louisiana, he's been doing a sermon series about the different kinds of love in the scriptures and how they impact our lives. So our readings will reflect these lessons. So our Old Testament lesson is from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 to 12, which is fun for me because this is actually what is hanging over our couch at our house and was also hanging over Linda and I when we got married a little over 5 years ago. Anyway, so Solomon is talking about community, and he's saying two are better than one because they have good reward for their toil. If they fall, one will lift his fellow up, but woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Our epistle lesson is from 1 Corinthians chapter 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 16 to 27. And Paul writes to the church in Corinth, "For if I preach the gospel, that gives me no ground for boasting. For necessity is laid upon me, and woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. For if I do this of my own will, I will have a reward. But if not of my own will, I am still entrusted with a stewardship. What then is my reward? That in my preaching I may present the gospel free of charge, so as not to make full use of my right in the gospel. For though I am free from all, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win more of them. To the Jews I became a Jew, in order that I may win the Jews. To those under the law I became as one under the law, though not being myself under the law, that I might win those under the law. To those outside the law I became as one outside the law, not being outside the law of God, but under the law of Christ, that I might win those outside the law. To the weak I became weak, that I might win the weak. I became all things to all people, that by all means I might save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, that I may share with them its blessings. Do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one will receive the prize? So run that you may obtain it, and every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we are imperishable. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air. I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Our gospel lesson for today is from John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. And it takes place during the Last Supper as Jesus gives those in attendance a new commandment. Jesus says, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Again, I want to thank you for joining me for another week of readings as we prepare our hearts and minds for this Sunday's sermon. A couple of other announcements too. We are meeting over at the Flex House for the Super Bowl party to cheer on the Kansas City Chiefs. Go Mahomes. As they go for their second Super Bowl in a row. But not only that, I'd also like to invite you guys to come out to our youth house to write positive messages on our youth house walls before we start laying down paint here in the next couple of weeks. With that, I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend and sharing God's word with you there. God bless. Have a great day. Bye.